more on Tourism Minister Lindiwe Sisulu's column. We're joined now by former Statistician-General Dr. Pali Lehohla. Dr. Lehohla, you've also taken time to write an official response to what the minister has said, although through a very different lens. Tell us about what your thinking was when trying then to issue this response.
I took quite a different position in relation to the article because I thought that we are missing the gems in the article if I were to weigh in more directly on the content of it. And therefore, let me say what I thought we should do. I thought I would go to the classics, and in the classics I looked at Hegel on the theory of dialectics, and what Marx and Engels critiquing Hegel's work, saying that he attributes changes or opposites to the idea, as though there are no material conditions that can drive change. And in that regard, they were saying, but he's criticizing Plato wrongly, that is Engels. So in looking at this, then you move to a person like Karl Popper. Karl Popper discusses empirical evidence around issues. And of course, Lenin, well before Karl Popper had already spoken about imperial criticism and saying people have their own agency. And yes, while evidence is important, and having been a statistician-general, relying very much on evidence which is a positivist approach to life. So when you look at all these contestations, particularly that of Hegelian dialectics, it prompts into being free market theory. And free market and neoliberal theories emerge from Hegelian philosophy, which Karl Marx and Engels critiqued. Now, this is the essence of where Minister Sisulu's arguments come from, which are about what are the drivers of poverty, inequality, and unemployment in South Africa. I thought that that whole discussion has been lost in the spirited idea around that she has insulted the Constitution. I also make the point that the Constitution certainly is very, very robust. It is through that Constitution that a judge of the High Court, of the Constitutional Court, sent a former president to jail. So we cannot blame the Constitution for the misdemeanors of misdemeanors of the executive. There are many. I mean, if you look at the death of Komape, he was sent there by government to go and die in a cesspool. And this is a neoliberal process where Komape may have been told that you have choices either to go to the bush, or you go to a hotel where there's a better hotel toilet, or you go to that one that we have designed, but it's your choice. So these issues around the free market and choices. And then, of course, the government had to be taken to court to answer to the death of Komape, a 6-year-old whose sin for death is going to school. And in part, this is a neoliberal process of failing to build the infrastructure for education. Grootboom was a case that was adjudged by the judiciary. And therefore, what Minister Sisulu is elevating, and in the process indicting herself too as part of the executive. And I don't think it's a problem when the executive indicts itself for better movement forward. And that's where I'm talking about the dialectical materialism, which is the push for a higher and better is the most important. So when you look at what the executive has failed to do over the entire period and ushered into the system, poverty, inequality, and unemployment, which is regressing. Previous arguments around by the executive were that the realization of this constitutional mandates that are in the preamble are progressive. And of course, there was progressive realization. But what do you do when there is regressive realization of this? Like in the current budget, where the